Well, the absolute madman that is Pablo Pintor did it. He pulled it off. He picked up his second Pro Tour victory, and he's the first player in the very short history of Flesh and Blood to do so. He did it in, I don't even know the best way to put it, all the superlatives, insert them all, the most exciting of ways, and playing a hero that I think a lot of people were excited to see get Living Legend points. Congratulations to Pablo Pintor. It's easy to root for the guy. He just seems like a gem of a person. He's incredibly genuine when you talk to him. He's always excited. He's always positive. And he does it the right way. It's exciting to watch him play, and it was a storyline for the history books. I'll tell you what, seeing it kind of come to fruition, we'll talk a little bit more about it. But like I said, one of the biggest things that he did is that he picked up the win on Enigma. Now here's the crazy part. It didn't really matter which of the two players ended up picking up the win because both of them were playing Enigma, which means both of them, either of them I should say, were going to be granting Enigma 100 Living Legend points off of the back of this win. Just in case you forgot, Pro Tours do indeed grant 100 Living Legend points to the winning hero, and so it didn't matter either Pablo Pintor or Max picking up the win, because they were both going to be giving 100 Living Legend points to Enigma, and also, huge shout out, both of them Spaniards as well. So the trophy was going to be going back to Spain regardless. But here's the craziest part. If we scroll down past the Battle Hardened, which was Living Legend format, and instead we go down here to the Classic Constructed format, it was won by Enigma, none other than Emily picking up the win, another Spaniard picking up the win on Enigma, which means another 50 Living Legend points from the Calling are gifted, basically a gift wrapped to Enigma, putting Enigma at a precarious, from 839 points to a precarious 989 points. That's 11 points away from the Living Legend status. So by both of these players giving Enigma points this weekend, we now sit on the precipice of a brand new format. You can thank both of these winners, both of these Spaniards, for picking up the win on Enigma, because once Enigma leaves the format in this ProQuest season, which we'll talk about how that's going to work here in just a second, a brand new format is going to reveal itself in the Classic Constructed metagame. It's pretty perfect for the way that this all works out, because as Pro Tour London comes to an end and ProQuest season begins again, in this time pushing us towards Singapore towards the end of this year, I guess later this year, we are both, I guess, on this borderline of saying goodbye to two of the most powerful heroes we've seen in the game of Flesh and Blood, in Zen, Tamer of Purpose, and Enigma, Ledger of Ancestry, leaving behind the power level to some degree that is part the Mistveil, and then we are being beckoned forward by pirates, which is the best way to go forward. Sail on towards the horizon of the brand new format. Of course, before we get there, we do get this sort of intermediary format after the first weekend of ProQuest season. And how is that going to work? Well, keep in mind, ProQuest season gives 1,500 points across all of the weekends that ProQuests are taking place. So, if we look at the way it broke down recently, those ProQuests were giving out 3 points to the winning heroes of the ProQuest, which means Zen, Tamer of Purpose only needs to win 3 of these ProQuests on week 1. Enigma, Ledger of Ancestry, only, after she gets her points, of course, which are going to be added, only needs to pick up 4 wins across ProQuest season week number 1. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you're a big fan of Zen or Enigma and you want to get your name on their Living Legend leaderboard, Roll of Honor, whatever they call it, if you want your name there, it's going to happen in that first weekend, because it is all but guaranteed that those two heroes will be vacating the premises and making their way into the Living Legend status exclusively, where they can, of course, engage with what the meta was for the Living Legend tournament. As you can see, 127 players played in the Living Legend Sunday Battle Hardened, and 25 of them were Chain, 23 were Starvo, 11 were Zen. So if you're a big Zen player, don't worry, Zen is still there. Enigma, not represented, but maybe Enigma could make a splash. If you're curious as to who won, Nova Chan ends up picking the win up on Chain. I was going to say I very much expected Starvo to win, but Chain's been doing some stuff in the Living Legend format over the past couple of weeks. And so I'm a little shocked by this result because I'm a big proponent and believer of Starvo in the format, and I do think he is quite good. But it's nice to see that he's, at least matched in some power level by Chain. What I don't like to see is how kind of stock standard this is. It's either Starvo, Chain, or Prism. And I was looking at these results as the Pro Tour was going on, and most of the top, it was exactly this. It was Starvo, Chain, and Prism, and I was like, I know that meta. I've seen this before. I've commentated many of those games, and okay, that's, I guess, where we were at. There was, like, in that last round, before the last round finished up, there was, like, a Briar lurking in the mix, and then really not much else after that. So I'd like to see a shakeup here, which will be, I guess, coming soon. We might actually be getting some amount of ban and restricted announcements, here either tomorrow or the next day. I'd be curious to see. But regardless of those ban and restricted announcements, our meta is going to shift completely, and the classic constructed format will be changing. And how will it change most? Zen Tamer of Purpose at this point isn't that big of a splash in the meta. He's not really pulling you into one deck or another. He almost just answers the questions that most decks are presenting. So him rotating doesn't change much, but what Enigma rotating does is it opens up a wide variety of heroes down here that don't necessarily have access to consistent go-again attacks and really more focus on more of like this, either big attack or mid-range style gameplay where you're trading back and forth. An honest man's flesh and blood, the first three sets of the game style of deck. It could mean a couple of things, in fact. It could mean when she ends up rotating, we could be seeing a lot more representation from Guardians, like Jarl, and the one I have my eye on is Victor Goldmane. Those two heroes, I think, could be great answers to Prism, and are just not allowed, not Prism, great answers to, where is she? Aurora right here, and not really allowed to live right now because Enigma just builds a board and blows them up. That's an issue. KO seems very fair ever since Part the Mistveil existed, and when two of three of those heroes rotate, KO starts to feel a little bit better. He kind of returns back to that mid, every matchup is like winnable but not great. Some matchups are better, some matchups are slightly unfavored. He feels like he could come up a little bit. Basically any hero that presents like poppers and any hero that presents like 6 or 7 power attacks starts to get a little bit better. All of these, big name heroes that don't really do much get a little bit better. And one of the reasons why is because Prism Awakener of Soul became this answer to Aurora Shooting Star. And if these two decks are sort of, at each other's throats, Prism says, I have better numbers than Aurora, and I'm just going to build this board and make things awkward for you, and then hit you for 7 and then 7 on any given turn. Aurora can't really deal with that unless she draws really well. Well, an answer to that is having poppers naturally in your deck and not just bringing them in from the sideboard. So these, like Victor Goldmanes and the Guardians of the world, start to feel a little bit better, and Prism comes down naturally. She's not immediately hated out of the format, or she could be, I'm not sure. But to me, she's not immediately hated out of the format. She just takes a little step back, and these heroes start to come out. But what does that also trigger? Well, and this is the really fun part because I'm excited, warriors start to get a little bit better. Kasaya the Golden Sand and Dorinthia Iron Song have decent, fun games, fun matchups into Guardians. I don't think they're like clearly favored one way or unfavored another way, but they become playable again. And those were other heroes that were hated out of the format by Enigma Ledger of Ancestry. So her rotating means that those heroes now get to play a little bit more of a game in the format as well. That's incredibly exciting to me, particularly because I'm a big fan of Kasai of the Golden Sand, and my friendship with Marvel Kasai is gone so that I can pick up the beach volleyball Kasai, which is what we're going to be calling her. Wizards also get a little bit better because Verdant's Thorn of the Rose, and I'll even say Kano as well, those two heroes do have tough matchups into a good Enigma player, and that gets deleted. Now Kano and Verdance start to come up a little bit. I think that's great for me personally. I'm perfectly excited. I'm so incredibly excited because we get to live in this sort of pseudo intermediary meta world for just a bit, and then we all get slapped in the face by high seas, which is great. I expect some of these heroes to be quite good going forward. Heck, we might even see like Ira start to get good. She is getting an armory deck after all, but I think some of these heroes, including Acilio, start to get pretty solid in this future meta that could coalesce and exist after week 1 of ProQuest season, in between like week 2, 3, that sort of stuff. It could exist then, and then of course we are all represented, or all I guess presented with the heroes that are coming in high seas, and gold will be plentiful, and everyone will enjoy the waves or the skies as we all sing songs while sharing a bottle of rum, which is going to be incredibly fun. So congratulations to all the winners this weekend, particularly to none other than Pablo Pintor for picking up another Pro Tour win and cementing himself as, I'll just say it, the best player in the history of Flesh and Blood. It's incredible. Good on you, man. I'm rooting for you, and let's go be pirates together in the next set. As always, everybody, thanks for watching.